definition of a spouse is one who enters into a valid marriage. A valid marriage is defined by the marriage ordinance, and in Hong Kong, in order to be a valid marriage, it must be a monogamous marriage. Monogamous marriage is defined under the Matrimonial Causes Ordinance. If the marriage took place in Hong Kong, it must be between a man and a woman who are both aged 16 and above, who are both single, and the marriage must have been properly registered. If the marriage took place outside of Hong Kong, then the local laws where the marriage was celebrated would take effect. There's no exception. So in other words, unless you are validly married, you cannot get a divorce, you cannot get the protection from the family court because there's no marriage to begin with.
No, there are no exceptions in the context of divorce or the relevant ordinances. However, under the Inheritance, Provisions for Families and Dependents Ordinance, there's what we call a good faith void marriage exception. Now what that is that if a person enters into a marriage in good faith and with clean hands, but subsequently realizes that their spouse has committed, for example, bigamy, then it would not affect their entitlement under Cap 481. The implication is that they would not have to show that they were dependent on the deceased immediately before death, whereas for a girlfriend and boyfriend, you would have to prove the immediately before death point, which sometimes could be quite difficult. So if same-sex partners got married in California, but genuinely believes that their marriage is recognized in Hong Kong, this is actually an area where it has not been tested in Hong Kong courts yet, but it would seem like a case where the good faith void marriage exception could apply. Now we would have to get the Hong Kong courts to recognize the living spouse as a spouse under Cap 481. The implication, as mentioned before, is that the burden of proof would be significantly different. But this is going to be an interesting area of law, and we look forward to any new developments.